right, we're here with Russ, team member of Team Lomachenko, also the cut man of Team Lomachenko, right?
Yes, sir.
There you go. I know you guys were pretty pissed off at what happened with the whole Devin Haney thing, but I remember I seen you, I think on TV after the fight talking to Loma, like, you got that fight. So how surprised were you when it went the other way?
You know what? To be honest, my honest emotion to you when they announced the first score of 116-112, I said, we got it. Because I figured, and they didn't say split decision, so I figured if the first judge got it 116-112, has to be for us. It can't be 116-112 the other way. It had to be for us. 115-113, okay, it's close. I could live with that too. But I was convinced that the 116 score was because he had won the fight. And I can't remember having been, more heartbroken than what I was, especially for Loma, for everything he's done in the game, for what he's accomplished, for the way he's conducted himself, the class in which he's carried himself. It seems like we punish this kind of stuff instead of rewarding it.
When you look at Loma, what does he kind of do from here? I know that's a decision that he wants to make, but, Devin probably will move up to 140. All the belts get vacant. Loma is 35 now. So what do you kind of do? You just say, hey, let's stick around here, or let's go down to 130?
I don't think he's going to go to 130. I think that would be a wrong thing to do. And I've always felt that with any fighters that have ever moved up, once you start your move up, you don't come back down. And I don't think there's been a lot of fighters who have had a great success once they've moved up and then come back down. I can't think of any fighters that have had great success coming back. Roy's one of them. Chris Bird's one of them. Leonard is another one. You come back down, it doesn't always work out good. So, 135. Loma's a guy who wants to fight for titles. That's his thing. He wants to fight for titles. He's had out of his... I think 16 out of 20 professional fights have been for world titles. I think it's a record that might likely never be broken. So I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. Hopefully, he'll be given that opportunity to fight for the belts again. But he had the belts. What he didn't have was undisputed, and that's what he wanted.
If Haney does move on, right, what fights, in your opinion, do you want to see Lomachenko have in 135 pounds?
I like Tank. I think the Tank fight would be a massive. I think that would be a contrast in styles, that all of boxing would want to see. The boxer against the puncher. I think that would be if I had to pick one, I'd say Tank.
That's a fight that's been floating around for how many years, huh?
Yeah.
Too long.
Too long. That's the problem with boxing today. The things floating around too long. Exactly.
But to be fair, though, that fight, at least in my view, probably won't happen. The more likely fight, it seems like, is Shakur Stevenson. What do you think about him, and how difficult a fight do you think?
Very difficult fight. Very difficult fight from a stylistic perspective because Shakur's that good. He's so gifted. He's so. He's like the Matrix 2.0 version of Lomachenko. He's so gifted. You can't hit him with a handful of rice. So that's a stylistically very difficult fight.
How confident would you be? I know you're going to be confident, but how confident would you be for Loma to pick up that win against Shakur if they was to face off, man?
Listen, that would be a big worrisome fight. That would be a very difficult fight simply because of the fact, and it might not even be a fan-friendly fight either, because both of them are so good defensively. Loma, the smaller guy, would have to try to make the fight a little bit more, and Shakur has that beautiful back step where he can just step back and he judges distance so great. He's so well coached. He does things so great in there. Stylistically, it's a tough fight, which is why I say Tank.
Are you also saying Tank because I guess it's maybe in your view a somewhat easier fight?
No, it's not easy.
Payday?
It's not easy. It's just
not easy, but easier.
Less complicated, maybe.
Okay.
Not easier, less complicated.
Gotcha. When you look at Shakur, would you say he is the best guy at 135 currently right now? Or would you say it's Devin? Let's not count Loma.
Look, Devin's got the belts. He's the champion right now, and I think he deservedly so. He did what he had to do.
But would you take Devin to beat Shakur, though?
Again, a very bad stylistic fight from both guys. Both guys who don't want to engage, both guys who want to box. Could be a terrible fan. It's not going to be a fan-friendly fight. I think Shakur not only gives problems to anybody in the division because of his style, historically, every great defensive fighter gives trouble to guys. And I think that Shakur is going to give trouble to anybody and would have given trouble to anybody at 135 pounds ever. Especially now, the size that he is, he comes in, he's a junior middleweight by the time he gets in there,
Well,
he's so big and hard to hit.
Vasil brought out certain deficiencies or certain weaknesses in Devin Haney that we had never seen before. Could that possibly be the same thing with Shakur? Something that we've never seen Shakur?
Maybe. I got to see them spar together, I got to see them spar together.
When was that again?
I'm sorry?
When was that again?
It was before the Rigondeaux fight.
Okay.
So, they do know each other, and Shakur was young at the time, and, it was better than fights you paid to see, That's how, but that's from a purist perspective, you know what I mean? Boxing, wow, look at what they're doing in there, standing this close, they can't hit each other. So, could he bring out? Yeah, he could, but it's exploiting, like you said, Loma brought out things in Devin, but could other fighters capitalize on it? Up to now, they haven't. So you have to be special to kind of be able to capitalize on those mistakes.
Last question for me, man. You said that Shakur could, give anybody problems at 135 in history. So would you actually take him to beat a young Floyd at 135, man? A young Floyd Mayweather? Or do you think it's too close to call? Or are you just taking Floyd?
Floyd was special, but I certainly think Floyd has a ton of easier fights that he'd have had than Shakur. He'd be in a fight. He'd have to be at his best. He couldn't mail that one in. He couldn't mail it in. He'd have to be at his best, and he'd have to take him very, very seriously. Because Shakur has that. Any great fighter who has great defensive ability gives nightmares to anybody. I don't care who it is.
Would you have still taken Floyd though in that fight?
Yeah, the edge would be Floyd. Yeah.
Gotcha.
For now, but he's young. Give him a break. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
All right.